from the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Hey, everyone. How's it going? Happy Monday, February 15th, 2021, folks. I hope y'all had a very good and happy Valentine's Day. I hope you had something special going on, whether you're single or with someone. You got to at least celebrate a little bit of love. A lot to talk about on today's Practitioner Brief. So before we get started, we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can tune in by following the CyberHub podcast page and watching us live 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time each and every single day except Friday. So Monday through Thursday, folks, business days. A few headlines to talk about today, including the Singtel Zero-Day Cyberattack, a vulnerability in VMware. The U.S. government is warning based on the Florida water attack, and some good news and privacy news towards the end of the podcast as well. So you'll want to stay tuned till the very end to get the latest. If you're watching us for the very first time and you have not subscribed, please do so right now by subscribing. If you're listening on your favorite podcast listening platform, please make sure to subscribe as well and give us a 5-star rating. You can comment if you're watching us live, say hello, all the good stuff that comes with it. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Know Before and Wistic, so give them a shout out and you can see them in the show notes below. Now let's get right into our ceremonial coffee sip. My double espresso, because I need it on a Monday morning. Someone that just asked me how many have I had already. This is my third of the morning. Yeah, 3. Sometimes I need that many. I'm sorry. I know. Very difficult. Let's get right into today's news, though. So Singtel, which is the largest telecom provider in Singapore, suffered a coordinated wide-ranging attack. This, according to Terra Seals over at Threatpost. So Singtel, which is a tier 1 telecom carrier throughout Asia and the owner of Australian telco Optus, has been impacted by a software security hole in a third-party file transfer appliance targeted by attackers. Singtel is one of multiple organizations impacted by this, including an Australian medical research institution. For risk perspective, the software we're talking about is the Acelian File Transfer Appliance, or FTA. FTA is a 20-year-old product. It was targeted with the attack kicking off on December 23rd, just Christmas Eve, folks. Singtel, Singtel, which is one of the largest telcos in the world, announced that it was a victim of a coercive set of cyber attacks. The statement coincided with Acelian's own public acknowledgement that an ongoing vulnerability in FTA eventually led to an information compromise and for Singtel and other customers as well. So the bug-riddled file transfer software. We're going to have a theme on today's show, which is old, outdated legacy systems that are bug-riddled, that aren't getting patched, that are leading to cybersecurity events. So keeping that in mind, the initial incident, which began in December and continued into January, Acelian identified additional exploits in the ensuing weeks and rapidly developed and released patches to close each vulnerability. Acelian continues to work closely with FTA customers to mitigate the impact of the attack. There are some patches out. If you are using this, you want to make sure to get this patched. Several, lots of comments here, by the way, on this thing, and a lot of people that are going to want to talk about it. So let's talk about one. The risk is significant at this point because we've now understand that multiple organizations globally have been impacted by this. So let's start with that. The impact doesn't appear to be business operations, but rather data. Having said that, that data is significant. And if that's the case, then you want to ensure that you are mitigating by patching. So let's just agree that we need to get this patched or turn it off completely. If you can, there are plenty of other file transfer softwares out there today that you can use temporarily until you figure this out if this is a critical part of your business. Let's talk about our next story, which is a vulnerability in the VMware vSphere replication, which can facilitate attacks on enterprises. So VMware last week informed customers about the availability of patches for a potentially serious vulnerability affecting its vSphere replication product. We've spent a lot of time talking about VMware over the last several weeks with a lot of different vulnerabilities and CVEs. So this specific CVE is 2021-21976. Patches have been already released, and it is critical that you get those patches done according to VMware. When carrying attack on a company infrastructure, an attacker can detect the VMware vSphere replication instance at the perimeter of its network, and the used password is weak. For example, he can guess credentials, enter an admin. There's some luck here or some data that needs to be taken as well. A lot of us use VMware. We got to get this stuff patched. It's one of our priority things that we do internally in our organization. We patch VMware at the moment we get an email that says time to patch. We don't wait on it. It takes priority and precedent over a lot of other things simply because of the way we implement it and the way it's being used in the business. I'd urge everyone to do the same. Again, patching is a lot easier said than done. And that's an entire conversation all of by itself. So the US government has awoken after a significant attack on the old Florida water plant. And now they are saying that, folks, you got to rip and replace Windows 7. Thank you so much, CISA. Thank you so much, US government. Yeah, here's the deal, though. So this is a funny headline for a lot of you. Some of you may be chuckling right now. And if you're chuckling, that's okay. You go, Windows 7, well, if you didn't catch the Tech Town Square last week, and I don't know if you did or not, if you didn't catch the Tech Town Square last week, I had on Brian Penny and Brian Kane, and we spoke about the challenges of legacy systems within industrial control systems facilities. This, folks, is a classic case of some of the stuff they're running only runs on Windows 7. And so to rip and replace could also have downstream impact on a lot of different variables. So it's easier said than done, so much easier said than done, but it needs to get done absolutely. But Windows 7 is one of the reasons this specific attack on the old Florida water plant was successful. They also say poor password hygiene, and the system's running an out-of-service Windows 7 operating system. Okay, yeah, we get all of that. All devices use the same password for remote access. Again, poor hygiene, old systems lead to it. MFA, folks, multi-factor authentication, just implement that, and you will be just fine. All right, so let's move to some good news today. All right, it's Friday. It's Monday. Sorry, I think it's Friday. I want it to be Friday. If you feel like it's Friday, thumbs up. All right, so Ukrainian and French police arrested the Egregor ransomware members. That was on Tuesday of last week. This was reported by the France Inter on Tuesday, thanks to Bleeping Computer as well for putting out the story. These guys were all arrested with the Egregor, which operates a ransomware as a service crime ring. And so well done to the French and the Ukrainian law enforcement officials for taking those guys down. And another final story of the day, Apple will offer proxy safe browsing traffic on iOS 14.5 to hide user IPs from Google. So Apple's stepping up to the plate. Apple is saying, we're a hardware company. We don't want to make money off your data. And by the way, if you use one of our devices, we'll make sure that no one can see your data. They started a war with Facebook, and now they're going after Google's IP traffic. Man, oh man, am I loving Apple right now. I love them. Tim Cook, the folks over at Apple, thank you. Thank you for making this available for people so that the average consumer can take advantage of it. Get an iPhone, goddammit. Get it. Because it's the only thing that's going to protect your privacy going forward. There's one company out of the big tech giants that still cares a little bit about privacy. That company appears to be Apple, beating everyone hands down. I can't wait for the new version. So that's it for our practitioner brief today, folks. We're all set. We'll be back tomorrow with a lot more to talk about, things that I see every single day in my role as a CISO. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure to check out our sponsors, Wistic and KnowBe4 as well. Give them a shout out. Check them out. They do have some great ways to help your organization. Tomorrow we'll be doing some more. If you missed Friday, I did a Q&A session on my personal LinkedIn, James J. Azar. It's also on our YouTube channel with some awesome stuff. We talked about security versus privacy. We talked about browsers. Oh, man, browsers. I have a survey out. It's leaving me a bit problematic. I may end up doing another thing on it later this week as well. Also, CISO Talk coming out Wednesday. If you missed CISO Secrets, our brand new podcast with our friends over at Checkpoint, you should go check it out. Kurt John, the CISO over at Siemens, joined me to talk about IT, OT. You won't want to miss it. CISO's Secrets, folks. Look it up on your favorite podcast listening platform. It's only available in audio format. Until tomorrow, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.